So hello everybody. Carlos here, trying a new route. Yep, this route, or route, I'm not sure who says what nowadays. I'm an expat Brit who's forgotten his roots in 30 plus years of living on this side of the pond. On Tuesday. No, today is in fact Saturday. I'm recording early so that I can get this one off my back, so to speak, and leave tomorrow free for Norma and I to do what we want to do, depending on her injury. She has trouble every now and then with stabbing pain in her left leg, partly from her hamstring and partly from her reconstructed ankle. She too had a minor incident on her motor scooter, on our own driveway, in fact, as I concentrate while crossing the road. I have already turned off my audio book so I can concentrate on my vocabulary. So today, to be different, I've decided to run away from Mount Doug and towards Mount Tolmie. Yes, indeed. From here on in, it's going to be mostly hiking, but I'll try and throw in some run segments that I can run without putting me too much out of breath. So this is the climb. The vegetation here is almost identical to that found on Mount Doug. It's Garry Oak Meadows from here to the top. What is missing in this particular park are the large Douglas firs that you can see in abundance on Mount Doug. There are a few firs in the distance, but they are secondary to the Garry Oak meadow environment. From this spot I will turn and give you a view of Mount Douglas behind me. Nope, not yet. Not high enough. Have to get above that first line of Garry Oaks. So I'll do some more running while I'm at it. I'm using, once again, the elastic headband strap holding my point and shoot camera in place. I've always liked this dead tree stump. Minimalist for sure. The arms are quite special. For those sharper eyed amongst you, you probably would have seen Mount Douglas looming behind, over there to my right, through the trees. It's a beautiful, still, well, it's still, at the moment, it's still air. It's a beautiful pre-8 a.m. morning here in sleepy old Victoria, BC. as I gaze in awe across the Shelbourne Valley. Any second now. There she is. There is Peacols behind the telegraph wires. And there is the observatory and the cranes that are building the new University Heights shopping centre as I attempt to run uphill. I often run uphill even though I know I'm going to be in cardiac distress pretty quickly, mostly because I've just taken a little 360 camera break from my efforts, so I feel like I should run a little bit to make up for the lost pace. So this is the first picnic area. Picnic table over there, bench and table over there, different design. It is getting a little bit windy now as I approach the second tier, and as I start running once again uphill until I hear zone 3. Zone 1. My goodness. It'll creep up pretty quickly. I think I'll go up here. Zone 2. Soon to be zone 3. Half an hour of moving time so far. A lot of times when I do that very characteristic deep, short, sharp inhale of breath through my clogged up nose, it's because I'm gaining a little extra oxygen as I eat some wild fennel type plant. Let me just check that I am still rolling. Yeah, I have a chance to zoom in on the Mountain of Joy from Mount Tolmie. Yeah, this camera is pretty darn good for the zoom. As long as I'm not running, it does a good job. Now I have to zoom back. This is tricky without shaking the camera too much. Back I go. Zone 1. As I put the camera back under the strap. Alright. Love Life. That should be the title of today's episode. I'm always curious, wondering why certain episodes get many hits, like 35, 40 hits, and other episodes get virtually none, or maybe 1 or 2. And I'm kind of thinking it might be the title, because in content, all my podcasts are the same, as you know. slightly different locations, maybe. Let me take a picture with my phone so that it'll appear on the Relive map as I zoom in on Mount Douglas. This is just about where I took the cover photograph for this episode. As I reach the summit, I'll tell you that altitude in a second. There you go. 118 meters above sea level and 3.67 kilometers from my fridge. Okay, and now the money shot once again. I'm going to zoom in and put the camera on the rail to steady it, because when it's zoomed it's very hard to hold it still enough. There you go. As I look downtown into the wind, sorry about that, audio people. The video people can understand why it suddenly got noisy, and that's because I turned to face the wind. I'm going to go up to the lookout. There's a little, what's it called now, a toposcope, point of interest, a toposcope. So they normally put these things on the top of prominent hills so that you can get your bearings with one of those radiating pointers. So due north is that way. Vancouver is 85 kilometers from here as the crow flies. Mount Douglas is 4K from here, and the Dominion Observatory is 10K from here. Christmas Hill there is 4K from here. Alright, so I'm going to head back down and continue my video for a little while longer. Let me take another picture with my camera, with my phone I should say. There is a large bulk carrier just coming in. I'm not sure if it'll show up very well. This stuff tastes great. I used to have some of this in my belt whenever I ran a 100-miler, for when you get that horrible taste in your mouth after you've been running for 5 or 6 hours. I was used to think it was all the toxins of my body being removed via the mouth, by breathing, through the skin, by sweating. It's the same flavor as the Pernod drink, popular in much of France, the pastis. Unfortunately, the rest of this run is going to be on asphalt, but that's okay because I had my trail section coming up, and this is where I finish off this short episode on the asphalt, hopefully out of the wind, hopefully at a continuous run, because it's downhill. You get a good idea of the downhill when you see the turns. A straight hill doesn't look like a hill at all, but when you see the turn, you can see how the ground drops away. swallow the remnants of the plant that I was mentioning. You're probably going to hear me chew because the camera is mounted to my cranium, as is my jaw. So, at this stage, you will probably understand, excuse me, that there'll be some music playing by now. "35 minutes into my run. As I turn once again and head down towards Richmond Road. This is Mayfair Drive. I was saying to Norma that I knew it had something to do with Monopoly. At least the original. Okay, today I'm expecting the delivery by Amazon of an official head-mounted strap for my camera. They show it with a GoPro screwed in, so I'm hoping that it has a universal screw fitting that will work with my camera. Richmond Road. The sidewalk is very seldom used. Mostly it's used as a way of getting downtown, but as you see, the buses are quite prevalent here. It's a very good shortcut to the Royal Jubilee Hospital and to the Fort Street area of Victoria. 8 minutes 30, and it's only going to get better. I'm going to have to listen to the middle part of this podcast just to remember what I decided to call it. The name has completely escaped me. As I spit out the remnants of the plant that I was chewing. Zone 4. I give you a break. And myself. Eight minutes 26, and I'm 40 minutes done. I'm gonna have to do a fair bit of makeup tomorrow in terms of time on my feet, because today is going to be shorter than the 82 and a half minutes that I have to do today to stay on par. I was hoping to do more like 100 minutes today so that tomorrow would be easier, but the other way of doing it is that now that this podcast is almost in the can, and now that my duties for the weekend are almost over, I can plan a run tomorrow based on a longer e-bike ride followed by a short run or hike, depending on Norma's preferences. This would be a good time for me to end this episode. Look at those magnificent hydrangeas. Look at the size of those. Wow. Yep. That's what a sprinkler will do. And there's one that's an odd colour. Mount Tolmie looming up there above the Garry Oak. I hope you see that. So, just before I start coughing, I will say goodbye to you all. Bye bye.